Okay.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you so much. Everybody take a seat, please. Don't invade Alhaji's room like that.
No, I'm used to that.
I know. Yes, are we ready? Can we have one house? Well, Alhaji, thank you so much for accepting to let us see you. And it's a pleasure to meet you in person, even though I report on you every day, every other day.
I'm aware.
Yes. And one thing that happened on our way here was a reminder of how governance should be. Access. You know, people have, your gate was thrown open, we didn't see no security man. We didn't see any cameras looking at us. And we were having a discussion that what people mistakenly see to be governors today is that the more inaccessible they are, the more they think they are in government or they are governing. And you have shown the example that it is possible to be in public office and also be a simple and accessible person. And this is what attracted me to come and see you today and to come and inform you officially that I am running for the position of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as president. And I didn't have to think twice when I arrived Kaduna that I have to see you, because you are one politician. I don't even know if it's fair to call you a politician, because what the people they call politicians in this country today are...
Call me a socialist.
A socialist who has had the best staying power. You've been there consistently maintaining that Nigeria can be a better place, that workers can be well paid and we will not go broke, that our government can be simple, cheaply maintained, so that it will be to the benefit of the people. You also have a trait that not many people have, which is that you are capable from this your insecure environment to speak truth to power and still go to bed because your conscience is clear. The platform upon which we are doing this is a movement, first and foremost, because I know you asked that question when we came in. We are running a revolutionary political movement.
Revolutionary political movement,
yes. That is driven largely by young people.
Yes.
We describe it today as the 7th zone of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is the zone of the disenfranchised, the disenchanted, the left behind, the poor, the weak, and the discarded. And young people form majority of that population or demographic. So we've come to talk to you about it, to seek your counsel. As a revolutionary Marxist yourself, or socialist, as you like to say it. One question that people ask all the time is, if Balarabe Musa did not make it more than Kaduna governor, or Ganifa Weme did not make it as president, how is it that you people think you can? And we are going to reserve that to you to speak to here today. Because just as we are sitting in front of you, millions of Nigerians are watching you across the world. They are watching us. And we want to hear from you. Why is it that Nigeria unable to attain its potential in your lifetime? I mean, for the period that you've known it, that you have been around since the 50s. Why? What happened? What went wrong? Why was it that good people like you, Kano, and others were not able to make it happen, to make this country become a different place? Why?
Well, because of the wrong socio-political system controlling all developments in the country. In every country in the world, since the beginning of governance, there has always been, in every country that has existed, socio-economic and political system controlling all developments in the country. Once the system is wrong, then you have a situation like this we have in Nigeria, with abundance in everything in abundance, but with the level of poverty so much, with the level of inconsistency so much, with the level of disunity so much and everywhere. As long as you have the wrong type of social, political, and economic system controlling all developments in the country, you will have the situation we have in Nigeria. And because the system itself creates a political leadership appropriate to it. So you have a combination of two things: backward and irrelevant system producing backward and irrelevant leadership, and that's what we have. For instance, take what is the quality of Nigerian leadership? The quality of Nigerian leadership is thieves. How can you become, since the end of the Second Republic, how has it been possible in Nigeria to have a political leadership which is not made up of thieves? Of course, there is exception. We know those of us who believe in God either as Christians or as Muslims know that there is always an exception to the rule. Yes, I'm not saying that 100% of the leadership of Nigeria is made up of thieves. No, there are exceptions. For instance, there may be up to, I doubt it is up to, but there may be up to 1% who are clean people. But when you look at it, these clean people are made up of people who have not been able to steal, because stealing is not, even stealing is not available to everybody. Mm-hmm. They are not thieves because they have not been able to steal. Or they are not thieves because somehow they constitute that exception. That's all. But these people who have no access to stealing and who are not thieves by nature do not constitute more than 1% of the Nigerian population. The 99% are made up of thieves, and the fact is clear. You don't have to go somewhere. As long as you are sufficiently aware, you will see it. For example, how can you win on the basis of the Nigerian laws and the Nigerian culture? How can you be president of Nigeria without being a thief first? Because it is the thief, it is through stealing that you can make it. The politics in Nigeria, as well as election, and that is how you become a president, based on the politics, that is your political party, and based on election. Now, both political parties and election are based on money power. And this money power is acquired through corruption. So this is what we have. We have a socio-economic and political system controlling all developments in the country, and a political leadership produced by that system, both of which are made up of people who regard self-interest first, public interest second, or even incidental. Yes, as opposed to public interest first, enlightened self-interest second. Now, how can you have order? How can you have development in a situation like this? You will have only a system based on the survival of the fittest. And that's what we have. I gave you the example of the president. Nobody can be a president of Nigeria unless he is a thief or supported by thieves. I mean, the fact is clear. Otherwise, who can spend billions? And you know, the reasonable estimate of the cost of campaigning for presidency in Nigeria is billions. Yes. Who can acquire these billions? Now, if you don't have, well, we hope later you will have people with their free money, earned money, who can contest the presidency and get it. Before the Second Republic, it was possible. Yes. Shagari became the president of Nigeria without having been a thief. But it has been no longer possible after the Second Republic, because money power plays a leading role in politics and election. I gave you the example of when you were, before you can become the president of Nigeria. But take, for example, before you can even become a councillor, we are talking at the right time in the right place. Now in Kaduna State, there is going to be a local government election in May. I think it is May. Is anybody from
May 12th?
Yes.
Yeah,
May
12th.
I get May 12th. But do you know, to contest for a councillor in Kaduna State, first, you will need to spend 150,000 naira, what they call tax clearance certificate. You have to pay 50,000 naira to the electoral body. They call it, what do they call it? SICOM. Except in the case of PRP, but in the case of all the other 67 political parties, you also have to pay to your party something, which will be more than the 150. Like for instance, in the case of APC and PDP, can be 250,000 naira. For the chairman, besides, in addition to this 150 naira for tax clearance, no,
250,000 naira
for tax clearance, and 50,000 naira for SICOM. Of course, you also have to pay
for the form.
So, no, what they call interest.
Expression of interest.
Expression of interest. That is in the case of particularly PDP and APC, the leading party. Then you also have to pay large sum of money to the party. Now, can we expect a councillor to do that? A councillor, exactly. And the most important thing is, and the most disappointing thing about the standard of Nigeria, standard of public interest in Nigeria, public conduct in Nigeria is so low that this is expected from the downtrodden. And we want to build democracy on the basis of how is it possible? That is not possible. And we're talking about local government council elections. We are not going to the other elections. And the ridiculous thing is, for national election, even for the president, you don't have to pay anything to the electoral body. You can pay anything to your party, but nothing to the electoral body. Now, how can you have a situation like this? For national election, there isn't this deprivation, because for the deprivation. But for local government election, which is supposed to be the election nearest to the people, the election on which democracy is built, you have to pay this exorbitant amount. And nobody is concerned. And the worst example is the attitude of the political parties themselves. No political party except the PRP in this country is fighting against this, even in pronouncement.
Yes, I am a witness. I am going to contest for Zaria local government election under the PRP, and PRP has paid all my forms. I didn't pay a dime to the elected to the party, nor to the chairman of the party. The forms were given to all of us free of charge. I am just from Zaria with my ward chairman, that's him. And that form, we are saying APC and PDP had paid about 250,000 to acquire. Apart from monies they paid to delegates, running into millions. I am a lawyer in Zaria, and I have been given that form for free, and I am going in for that election, inshallah.
But the most surprising thing, the most irresponsible thing about it is that since after 2002, when Ganefa was alive, there is no single Nigerian leader that stood against this. All the political parties are not opposed to this, or at least are not democratically contesting against this. In 2002, we were lucky Gani Fahimi was alive.
Yes.
We faced the same problem
in
2002 when the system wanted to keep us with one-party system. They wanted to have one-party system in Nigeria. With the help of Gani and with relatively relevant political leaders at that time, we kicked against this politically and in court. We went from the Federal High Court up to the Supreme Court and got the present liberal form of organization and recognition of parties. It's so much that we now have 68 political parties and not one. Of course, you may say 68 is too much. It may be. But people now have the right to decide the fate of a political party and the fate of an election candidate. Of course, to what effect is another matter. Now, unlike in 2002, are so irrelevant that the whole thing is being abused. There is liberal form of formation and registration of political parties, but nothing. Quantity without quality. Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for this. Again, I've come to, now that we've gotten your counsel, I've come to seek your endorsement. Because, like I said, you are one of the few people in this country that inspired us even when we were in primary school. When we got to the university, everybody we learnt about in our history book in primary school and secondary school, we had to fight them in the university except you. We had to protest against them every day except yourself, and we are glad that you are a shining example. You have offered us PRP so that we can come to PRP. You are inviting me to PRP.
Yes.
But is PRP willing to be part of a bigger coalition?
It depends.
Okay.
It depends on circumstances. But let me tell you, throughout our history, from 1950 to date, we have always championed the relevance of political coalition. Whenever a political party cannot change Nigeria alone, we advise the political party to form coalition of relevant political parties on the basis of a minimum program for Nigeria, covering national unity, democracy, and social development. Social and economic development. That is the minimum condition we require. PRP, throughout his history, has never contested election without coalition in one way or another, as long as our separate existence remains. And our separate existence is fought for, and we maintain it because we want to maintain our separate existence until there is a better alternative. We believe in socialist reconstruction of Nigeria, starting with the leading role of the state in the economy to ensure peace, equality, justice, dignity of Nigeria. This is our minimum requirement. And if we find out we can't change Nigeria alone, we will say so. We will not hide the fact. We will say so. And we will express our willingness to join a coalition which can do that. Which we want to do, but we can't do because of the realities of the time.
The other question I have for you is a question of restructuring. You know, there's a whole conversation going around restructuring. In your view, what and how should Nigeria, all the fault lines that has brought Nigeria to the condition it is now? Because people are very serious about it. Nigeria needs to be restructured. And people in the north
different people in different parts of Nigeria. You can say some parts of Nigeria don't even understand what is meant by
restructuring. Yes.
They don't even understand the relevance of restructuring. Of ignorance or selfishness.
Yes.
And that way they even confuse people. They make some people fear restructuring when there is nothing to fear about it. It is a welcome development. It is only in a country where there is public sense, public standard, that people talk about restructuring. They talk about restructuring because they come to realize that, look, we have been along for so long, we have been around for so long, so many things have happened. It is wiser to review everything and see what achievement we have achieved and how we can achieve even more. What failure we have suffered and how we can avoid future failure.
Yes.
That is the object of restructuring. In the case of Nigeria, the relevant thing is this. We have been together for at least 100 years. It is not time for us to sit down. Now that we have this negative state of the nation, isn't it not sensible enough for us to sit down and say, look, we have been together for 100 years, yet we still have this problem of national unity, democracy, and development. Why? We have so many resources. Let us review everything and see what keeps us in this negative state of the nation.
Yeah.
It is not sensible to say so, but of course, this is being abused by particularly more than anything, these ethnic chauvinists and separatists in Nigeria. It is these two that are confusing, and of course they are intellectuals, because every society has its own intellectual. The advanced society has its own intellectual relevant to it, and the backward society has its own intellectual relevant to it. You know, the intellectuals who are backward are telling us that ethnicity, you being Yoruba, Hausa, Fulani, Igbo, Epic, or whatever it is more relevant than you being a Nigerian or even a human being. This is what the backward intellectuals are telling us. And we have met so many of them. And some of them are still showing themselves as national leaders. I wouldn't mention names, but if I'm forced to, I can mention all of them.
Mention one.
No, I wouldn't mention. But no, honestly, I've been around for so long, and I have mixed up. I have related with so many of them. I know what they are. You know, for instance, I will make this case because of the association with my friend, but I'm opposed to him, and we're opposed to each other. Obasanjo. People are associating with Obasanjo to create nothing that will take us even further backward. And those people associated with Obasanjo in this project, 90, if not more than at least 70% of them, I have associated with them in one form or another, and they have always disappointed us. Yet they are coming up with all these kangaroos, you know,
coalition.
And so on. If we are forced, we can mention them. When the time comes, we'll mention them.
I'll be back to ask you.
Well,
until
no, you have been doing it as Sahara reporters.
Yes.
I know
that's what we do at Sahara.
I know you have been doing that for a very long
names.
time.
Yes.
You are not afraid of naming names.
No, that's what we do.
Yeah.
So, Alhaji, because we're on a road trip.
Yes.
We've been to Kano.
Yeah.
And we've been in Kaduna since yesterday, where we had a town hall meeting.
Yes.
And what is amazing since we've been on this journey is that nobody is asking us about our ethnicity or our religion. It's as if Nigerians have come full circle and realized that they just use that.
But let me tell you, if you go to interview, I will now mention names, leaders of Iowa
Consultative Forum.
Afenifere,
Masop,
Ohenazi, and these variations all over the country, you will hear this ethnicity or regionalism as being more important than even humanity.
We know that. We know that very much. But we are running a campaign that is not ethnic based.
I hope so.
No, it's completely not ethnic based. There has no religious connotation. You know, we go to church, we go to mosque to preach. You know, we relate with Nigerians at home. We've also traveled to the US to do town hall meetings. But what we are interested in is that we believe, and we know it based upon even the information I have for the last 12 years working as Sahara reporters, that Nigeria could be a great nation. You know, I have to be in possession of budgets of the country every year, compare with the revenue, and then when you do the addition and subtraction and you know how much is stolen, your heart bleeds all the time. And I'm in possession of this document because my work is required to do that. I have to go after all these people, report on how much they're stealing, how much their children are stealing. One thing that I would not even calculate is how much they spend on their children's school fees abroad. Some of them are unconscionable.
Not even the school fees. How much they spend on their children's shopping.
No, that's what I'm saying. When you say school fees, it's all part of it. It's the lifestyle that is running riots on the rest of us.
Exactly.
But yet, you look at it today, people talk about zoning. They cannot complete Kano, Kaduna road. I drove on the road yesterday. And I asked them when I got to Kano that the man who is from your region doesn't care about you if he doesn't care about you. Nigeria has sent 3 presidents from 3 zones, and they could not complete the road to their hometown.
Exactly.
They won from Ota, friends. No road from Lagos to Ota for his 8 years in power. They won from Bayelsa. Till today, cannot finish the road.
Atiku, just to
Adamawa, cannot finish it. And your main man now, who is in London, can't complete the road from Kano to Kaduna. And his best supporters are in Kano.
Also, let me tell you what we discovered in the process of a conference. We discovered that in spite of the fact that when you take everything into consideration, the North is 40 years behind the South in educational development.
40 years?
Yes. And there is need to bridge this gap to have peace and unity in Nigeria. Without bridging this gap, you will only be deceiving yourself. The Northerners who see themselves as the masters in politics will eventually be the downtrodden. So there is this fight to bridge the 40-year gap because of the national problem. So somebody drew our attention when we, the so-called elites, were making this case that the North is 40 years behind the South in educational development. Somebody said, no, the gap is not 40 years now. It has been bridged because there are so many schools and so on in the North. It has been bridged. It's about 20 years gap. Then somebody came, all of them from the North, in fact, all of them from Kano, because the conference was taking place in Kano. Another one came and said, look, the person who said it is 40 years gap is even underestimating it. It is becoming even worse now. Because take the case where the president comes from, Daura. The man stood there and told us quite blankly that even though there are steps taken to bridge that gap between the north and the south, Daura had the highest number of drug addicts among the youth.
Wow.
Now imagine. And this is where you want to bridge the gap. You know what the implication of drug addicts? It means even if they go to school, it's not education. So actually, as he made the point that yes, steps have been taken to bridge the gap. Yes, but this is not possible as long as these youth are now drug addicts. Of what youth? How can they bridge the gap?
So you have to fight that.
So you have to fight that.
Yeah.
Now the Nigerian leaders don't care about that.
No, they don't.
Because they are talking about Daura, which is the home of the president. And if, in spite of the Daura having produced the president, the situation in Daura is worse than anywhere else. Anywhere else. Because the example of Kano was given. People came from the drug enforcement agency and so on. They were represented in the conference and made it quite clear the level of drug addiction among the youth and women. Funny, like even women in Kano. Now, if it can be this much in Kano, you can be sure it is worse in Kaduna and Kebbi, Taraba, Adamawa, Kogi. Yes. So while you are trying to bridge the educational gap, the level of drug addiction, which would
nullify even whatever you achieve. That's true. Wow. But this is it, people. This is knowledge from somebody who has got wisdom. And we hope you will continue to speak truth to power, and you will be preserved for us. Next year, I would like to invite you to my inauguration as #1 person to May 29, 2019. And we are going to take your offer.
Have you made a decision not to contest on the platform of the PRP?
No, I have not. That's what I'm saying.
Then how do you talk of me, you inviting me?
Whether I join, you have invited me to PRP, so already I'm a honorary member of PRP until I sign the form. Yeah. I've always been with you in PRP.
When you are declaring, I will lead the declaration.
Fantastic. So, we have taken up your offer, and we will be back with our team that have conversations around, and seriously, political coalitions. What we need you to know is that we're bringing in a lot of people in the coalition, and you have made it clear, and I agree with you, that there must be irreducible minimum conditions for any coalition. For me too, I agree with you that we cannot compromise and sacrifice the unity of Nigeria on the altar of some man-made problems that were created by the same people. And that's what I say to people all the time. There's nothing sacrosanct about Nigeria's unity. But at the same time, a lot of people who are in Nigeria today have mentally seceded from Nigeria because there's no justice. For them, it's not only the ethnic people alone. A lot of people, because the state is supposed to protect them.
Exactly.
There's no protection for them. And as a result, they have left this country. Every house now is like a local government. You have to provide your security, water, you have to provide everything for your own hospital. And when that happens, when there's no cohesion, you can't talk about unity. But if you bring justice back into the system, Nigerians don't really care about the fault lines that we're talking about. So please, I want to just offer you our paraphernalia for our party, and we hope that you will be at our declaration.
All this for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, it was.
And these are the posters for,
Yeah.
This one can be
Yes.
unfolded.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's a bag. Yes. So this is how we know the difference.
Yeah.
You're actually taking time to read it.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yes.
He will study it.
Yeah, I know.
He will study it.
Yes.
But one thing is for sure,
Yes.
we will always wish you all the best.
Absolutely.
But I want to be very, very candid.
Yes.
You must be divorced of the same issues he has just.
Oh, I'm totally divorced from. He knows that already.
Yes,
he knows that
religion
already.
and ethnicity.
No, he knows that already.
You see,
I don't have any ethnic
that
gene in my system.
You see, when Jonathan
In fact, if
came
I
on
ask
board,
you, if I ask you where I'm from, you will never know.
I will agree.
Yes.
When Jonathan came on board as a Muslim from the north,
Yes.
I liked him.
Yes.
I am
They
telling you
they
from
voted
my
for
heart.
him too.
I'm telling you from my heart, I liked him. I know Jonathan is a good person. Unfortunately, he has too many bad
They
points.
hijacked his government. Yes.
And I would tell you, the arms proliferation in Nigeria today, in this government, honestly speaking, most of it has been, brought into the country during that PDP years. I'm not saying that to discredit PDP,
Yes.
but this was the misgovernance we had during
of
that
course,
time.
of course.
Not because of anything, but because of, the inactive
Nature of
what
his
happened
government,
there.
yeah. The
And-
cluelessness.
Yes. So now, if we look at what is happening today, of course, the APC shouldn't be throwing blame games. They
Yes.
should look at the issues and
And
face
work
them.
on, fix
But
it. That's
we
what they were
just-
elected to do.
That is it. But we have to put heads together. It's okay. We will wish. I will stop here.
Yes.
Because this is something for the youth.
Yes.
And we will.
This
wish-
one is for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why we came to see him. I know his youth because he always look young since I know him.
Honestly.
For real.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was thrown out of office, I'm sure, because of corruption.
I know. We know that.
He refused to allow people to do
steal. What they used to
look
do.
the other way.
But you see, people are, I don't know how to put it. People don't understand why I should be what they think I am.
Yeah.
In terms of governance in Nigeria, there is something that existed even up to the Second Republic, which doesn't exist today. Look, today we are making mistakes, particularly about youth. Youth have always been in the leadership of Nigeria since the beginning, since colonial times. I can mention to you a number of young people, some people who were young, who were in governance right from 1953. But what do we have now? What we have now is untrained youth who have not been trained for leadership. And we expect those same youth to be leaders. We are deceiving ourselves. For instance, we are what we are because of the training we received to be what we are now.
Yeah.
At one time we were youth. I was governor 1942. I was still young. But what sort of governors do you get today at 42?
So you were
No
governor at the
training.
age of 42.
I think around 42.
Yes.
But what do you have? You have governors now at 42 or even less. But what training did they have to be
Governors.
What preparation did they have?
What?
Before I became governor in 1976, I had 22 to 26 years. No, whatever it is. I had 26 years of public service
Experience.
before I became governor. What about today? Today, you can become even a president without 2 years of relevant service. Yes, it happened before.
It happened.
Yes. And that is one of the reasons for what we have today. We talk about youth should be built because youth are the leaders of tomorrow, which is quite true. But they don't become leaders of tomorrow just like that. They have to be prepared for it.
Yes.
The leaders of today, the youth of today, are not prepared because their parents are bogged down with poverty, so they can't even guide them.
Yeah. Well, maybe they're even dead.
While in school, they become drug addicts. After they have passed through the problem, they get education. If they are lucky, they get the education. They are unemployed, frustrated, and they end up being criminals or social social outcasts. And you expect political leadership from this? You are deceiving yourself.
Very well. Very well.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And no, we don't want you to.
No, that's
Okay.
good.
Okay.
My president.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let me see you off. No.
We want to take a picture with you outside.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
How do you think this is
The group can join us. Come and join.
Sorry, 1 second. Let them just take more pictures.
Show yourself. You guys capture well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.